Welcome to RSA Conference 2024. We're recording live from Broadcast Alley in Moscone West. This interview is sponsored by SailPoint. I'm your host, Mandy Logan, and joining me today is Wendy Wu, Chief Marketing Officer at SailPoint. Wendy.
Hey, Mandy, nice to meet you.
You as well. I'm so glad you're able to join us on this a little bit calmer day, the last day of RSA. Much easier day, I feel like.
Much easier going, definitely. Yeah.
It is. I'm very happy you joined us, and I want to start right off the bat. Why does identity security matter?
Yeah, identity security as a concept actually has evolved from a dozen years ago, let's say. When it started as a concept, it actually was mainly a back office technology support.
True.
Consider about access provisioning, giving someone access to certain applications, right? But then as time goes, we realize there is actually a very important security angle that identity plays. So like in today's environment, we are seeing a tremendous amount of cyber risks happening, attacks. The volume, the complexity, and the frequency that happens is just increasing day by day. We have seen the data from IDSA, Identity Defined Security Alliance, that they did a survey last year. Across all the companies they surveyed, 90% of them experienced at least one identity-related breaches. 90% of them. So that's just a tremendous amount, which tells us identity is so critical. It's no longer just a back office technology support function, right? It's actually at the center of how we think about protecting our business, increasing the security posture for our enterprise environment. In addition, think about during COVID times, right? While COVID has gone behind us now, it did leave us with something, which is the operation from anywhere standard,
Absolutely.
which is now a
Yes.
new requirement. We need to empower our people to work and operate from anywhere on any devices. And that put a very tight requirement on how do you make sure while they have access, their access secure. And that goes back to the identity needs that we're all talking about. And IT as a function itself, it's evolving very fast. We want to make sure IT is set up successfully so they have tools to manage all these access needs and requests in a very efficient while very secure way. So that's why identity security is now coming to the forefront about how we ensure enterprise is secure.
It's huge. It's such a massive undertaking, and with the flexibility and variability and the additional tools that are added day by day for most organizations, it shocks me to think of how security teams and security leadership can really focus and go, yeah, this is exactly where we need to zero in. Do you have any reports or data that SailPoint has found very helpful in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we embark on this journey, right, really and trying to understand how identity security helped the whole industry move forward, we started with asking ourselves, how mature is the industry today?
Okay.
Exactly, where are we? So for the past 2 years, we partnered with McKinsey and did the Horizons of Identity Maturity Assessment just to see how overall the enterprise is secure. We surveyed 350 identities leaders globally.
Okay.
And for each year, we map out the maturity of the companies based on, do you have identity security strategy? Do you have the operating model? Do you have the right technologies? And do you have the talent to support your business? Based on how the participants answer those questions, we charted their maturity on a 1 to 5 scale.
Okay.
Horizon 1 is the least advanced, Horizon 5 is the most advanced. And Horizon 2 is where people started to deploy some technology, but it's very fragmented, very manual. Horizon 3, it's where business started to really scale up and digitize their identity practice, and they're starting to use some modern technologies like AI, ML to automate some manual processes. When you get to Horizon 4, it's massive use of AI, identity become a digital transformation enabler for the whole business. So based on that, today we can see 44% of the whole enterprise, it's on Horizon 1.
I believe it. I actually thought it might be higher, but
it's
yes.
almost half of them are just at the very beginning without nothing, without anything meaningful.
Right.
And then there are about 29% of the business that's on Horizon 3, right? So
Really?
less than a third, yeah. And those get into Horizon 4 and 5 are really single digit, 6 or 7% altogether. That just tells us the industry is still not very mature, but it also means huge opportunity for us to really come up with the right solutions to help the industry move forward, because it's just it's so tremendously important.
So with that in the report, I'm honestly kind of surprised that any that you surveyed were at Horizon 5 already. But was there information taken from that either externally you thought, wow, their posture was incredibly good, and then how does SailPoint's approach um, help, or how does it change what most organizations have been doing traditionally?
Yeah, so we actually also mapped our SailPoint customers' data
Okay.
based on this maturity model, and we can see almost 2/3 of our customers are Horizon 3 and beyond.
Oh, nice.
Right,
Okay.
which just tells us we do help them overcome lots of challenges that the companies at Horizon 1 are still dealing with, so that they can scale up their practice and automate that. So coming to what is SailPoint trying to do, our vision is really to help enterprise manage and secure the access to their critical data and application for every identity in their environment. And the way we do that is through our unified platform, Alice, right? Which we take a unified approach to help them manage all the different identity types, and not only look at their employee identity, but we look across their non-employees. We look at their machines, and we look at their privileged access, all built upon a unified architecture model, unified data layer. That way they get a single view of all the identities in their environment, and that allow them to make meaningful decisions. And all of this is also powered by our AI and ML model, so that they can automate lots of the manual processes that's just humanly impossible these days.
Absolutely. I mean, on that, you shared with me earlier a statistic about the absolute requirement we have for automation on identity security. Will you share that now?
Um, the
It was about just how many, by the time you have the identity access points, or the places that identity does need to be verified, it grows so exponentially as soon as one tool or anything else is added.
So let's take a typical enterprise, for example, right? Within this enterprise, there are lots of different identities. Let's say there is 100,000 identity types. That's not just employees.
Right.
And there's all the machines, that all the contractors, suppliers, partners, and service accounts, let's say. All together, that's 100,000. And they have 2,000 applications. For each application, there will be different entitlements based on the role you have. Like the CEO's entitlements will be different from an admin's, right? So those will be very different entitlements. Let's say each application will have 100 entitlements. So can you guess how many variations of entitlements we're talking about here? It's
Millions?
a math.
It's huge.
It's huge, right? So when you multiply those numbers together, you come back with 20 billion. 20 billion variations. But that's not just the end of the story yet. You're here not only talking about application entitlements, there is also data entitlements. Means to say, like, who can have the certain data within the applications. That's just add on the complexity. And when an employee join a company or change the role or leave the company at each juncture point, those entitlements change again. So that we can be talking about trillions, quadrillions of variations of all the entitlements of access needs. And how can you do that in a manual way? You tell me, right? It's just impossible.
No, I'm sorry, Frank or Mary in the SOC, or anybody who's in the IT doing the onboarding, there is no physical way that they can make sure every single point is secure. So where, with SailPoint, what is the coming focus?
Yeah, so come back to how do we solve this humanly impossible problem? We really need to leverage modern technology like the machine learning and AI as the foundation that will then help us gain the insights and automate the manual processes, right? And then put them on a single pane of glass where you get all the intelligence through the unified data layer. And that way, our customers will be armed with the right intelligence to make the right decision and minimize the risks for them. So for example, we want to have role access intelligence. So that means how is each role using the access they have? Are they using it in the right way? Or are they not using it? If so, maybe we cut off that access. Business can save some money, right? And then based on the patterns, we can also detect outliers. If you're using this application in a way that's different from your peers, something might be going on, and then we can trigger the workflow to automate the process, to do certifications, to make sure you have the right behavior based on what your needs should be. So it's all coming down to who should have access to what when. And our job is to make sure you have a simplified way to manage such a complicated process with the solution that we provide.
And so with that solution, I really want to go back to the point about the employee identities versus non-employee identities. Will you speak a little bit more on that? And is there anything regarding the use of AI that helps with especially the non-employee identities?
Yeah, so when it comes to non-employees, today I feel like it's just at the beginning of getting the attention of the enterprise space. When we traditionally, for the past years, oftentimes our focus is on the workforce identity, employees primarily, right? And oftentimes non-employees are treated by the HR system. It's in a different system, or it's managed in a spreadsheet. Oftentimes you don't even know who's the contractors out there who may still have access while they're no longer being on the contractor status with you anymore. So it's critical for business to bring that to the view together with the employees so that you have a single pane of glass. And actually we have some data points that shows 40% of those non-employees are not being managed.
Oh,
and
really?
each single point of not managed identity means what? It's vulnerability, right? Hackers may take advantage of that, and we've seen so many bad news happening these days that people take advantage of those non-employee identities to really hack into the system, and then disaster happens, right? So we at SailPoint, this becomes a priority, and we have seen huge response from our customers when we release our non-employee risk management solution. Customers are really giving us very strong feedback. Yes, absolutely, they need to bring this in-house. And not just that, they want to manage that in the same system, on the same platform, together with their employees. Then you have much richer context of all of the usage, all of the access needs. That way you can ensure your security posture in a much more enhanced ways.
Okay, that is fantastic. And I want to go back to SailPoint's ability to help the security teams with rapidity of onboarding and offboarding.
So oftentimes we know when you hire a new employee, how do you decide what access they should have? The old way of doing that is they go to the manager and ask the manager, what access should this new hire have? The manager say, oh, I don't know, maybe just same as Joe, right? Because they're on the same team. But oftentimes that process, it's relying on very manual human inputs. It's not efficient, it's not accurate, and it may open up a risk potential for the potential hackers to deal with. So what we need to do is really establish a dynamic policy-based model based on the business context. At what time you should have what access, and for new hires, you can have that all configured from day one when you join the company. So it really smooths out employee experience tremendously, and this creates the frictionless experience without compromising the security that you need to bring to the business, right? Oftentimes it's like two ends of the spectrum, being secure and being productive, being fast moving, being innovative. And we want to bring the two together and create a healthy balance between the two so that our company is secure while our employee experience is oftentimes well maximized. At the same time, the security team or the IT team, their experience will also be largely enhanced because they don't have to deal with all the tickets that oftentimes hit them, the help desk calls they're getting, right? So they can truly prioritize their time on more meaningful tasks to secure their business.
Wendy, thank you so much. That is really beautiful to hear about the efficiency and the increase in security posture. Thank you for sharing about identity security.
Thank you so much, Mandy.
So everyone, please, for more information, go to securityweekly.com/SailPoint RSAC. And for more information on all of our interviews, really, from RSA, go to securityweekly.com/RSAC. Thank you again, Wendy.
Thank you, Mandy.